Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of the high school series and also week 3. And today I'm going to be going over what I did this week and just like a weekly recap of how I do things and what I do for my mentor and for my track. Last week's video was my Notion AI and the one before that was the intro. So go watch those two before you watch this one so you're all caught up. So today I'm going to start with just going over this document called Writing. I know, I'm creative. So this is a document that I use to document and write everything that I need to for my mentor and for my daily work. Nothing big, but just the small things that I do every day. It's organized into 5 different categories. Reading, which is where I read an article and then summarize it and create my own reflection on it. Simplify, which is when I take some scientific paragraphs and I simplify them, rewrite them in less pompous language. Editorials, which is where I try to write one mini editorial per month. I haven't written one of those yet, but I'm in the middle of working on it and I'm gonna just give you some of the ideas that I have for it. Summaries, this is where I write my weekly summaries, and terms are basically new scientific words or just any new words that I learned that are categorized into different categories based on the topic. So I'm not going to go over my Notion because I did that last week, but I am pulling it up for this video so that way you guys can see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So here I have my Notion and we're going to just start with the weekly reading plan. So this is under Reading and Academic Language Development. Read one article or short chapter per week, choose from science news for students, yada yada yada. So that says everything it needs to. So here my document. You can see that I have put in a date for when I did it, so that way I can keep a track of when I do things. This one was a little earlier. It wasn't from this week specifically, but it was one of the ones that I did in the beginning, so you can see where my baseline was. So this article was called Getting Enough Sleep, and the link should be somewhere down there. Yeah, it's over there. So 3 bullet points I put in. The amount of sleep in all ages has decreased with the last 20 years. Children and teens need a healthy amount of sleep in order to build better lifestyle and habits. Screens and other external factors have artificially disrupted our body's natural clock and recognition of day and night. So those are just 3 main points that I got from the article, and they're not like scientifically like the most 3 best points, or it's not like an SAT multiple choice question. Those are just what stood out to me. And the bottom is basically just a summary of those 3 points on the article in general. So the way I choose articles is I like to think about what project I'm focusing on and what specific editorial I'm working on for that month. And this month it's going to be about sleeping patterns and basically, yeah, the REM, circadian rhythm, things like that. So that's why I chose this article. It was just about getting enough sleep specifically within teens and children. And so those are just some of the things that I found. And on that note, for my project, which I did give a couple of ideas last, and I think in my intro week, but basically, as a short refresher, I'm picking a project to work on for my 9th grade year, and I am a freshman, so I am picking a project, and I want it to be something that I have the ability to do. I don't want to pick something so science-y that I have to get into labs and stuff. I want it to be something pretty simple, close to me, something that maybe I can relate to or helps me or like my community, things like that. So one of the ideas that I threw out to my mentor was evaluating sleep patterns in teenagers and music. So how the type of music someone listens to affects them, how much they listen to, when they listen to it, how loudly, with headphones, without headphones, basically how music affects sleep within teenagers. And she thought it was an amazing idea, and so that's what I'm working on this week. Not just this week, but this month. I'm working on just making sure that I can basically get a hold of what types of things I want to test for, and that's one of the things I'm going to do today. So the next tab is Simplify, and that one, you can see there's a ton of random sciencey paragraphs here. I'm going to show you how I generate those. So basically, I go to some sort of AI tool. I like using Google Gemini, but you can use whatever you want. ChatGPT, Notion, whatever you have. So I just ask it, science paragraphs I can rewrite simply. And it generates a couple of things you can see here. It's generated. And even in my Notion, I can do the same thing. I just have to ask it. Then I copy paste it into my document, 2 or 3 or however many examples that I want to work on, and I simplify it. So I'm going to go over this one. It's called photosynthesis. So we can read together the paragraph that it gave me. Photosynthesis is a biochemical process whereby chlorophyll-containing organisms convert electromagnetic radiation from the sun into chemical energy. During this process, carbon dioxide and water molecules undergo enzymatic transformation to synthesize glucose and release molecular oxygen as a byproduct. Super wordy, super pompous, super unnecessarily filled with thesaurus words. That was like a really good deep breath. Oh my gosh. So, if you would like to pause the video here and try writing it yourself for some practice, if that's what you're into, then you can do that. But otherwise, warning, I'm going to move on and show you how I simplify it. So, what I do is I like to just read it, and then every time I encounter a new word, I like to put it into my terms and obviously find out the meaning. So, the first word that I didn't know from this specific section was enzymatic transformation. That was something that I did not know the meaning of, and I searched it up. Another thing that I did not know the meaning of was, actually, I did understand the meaning of this one quite well because I went through a plant I'm in biology right now, and we are going through these topics, so it made sense to me. So I'm actually going to go to the next one because that one had a lot more words I didn't understand. And this is what I converted into. If you want to pause and read it, you can. So this one was really good example, the neuroscience example. I'm not going to read it for you, but I will show you the words that I did not understand. So right here in the first sentence, you can see the word endogenous. I did not know what that meant. So over here in my terms, you can see the first word I have is endogenous. It means originating or produced within an organism, tissue, or cell. So my sentence just ignores that word because for me, I don't need the word endogenous chemicals in my sentence because it doesn't really have much to do with the neurotransmitters themselves. It just tells me what they are, not what they do. And I don't really need to know specifics of what they are. So for me, I just left that part alone because I found out that it wasn't necessary for me to write. So I wrote neurotransmitters let neurotransmission occur by converting chemical signals along nerves. Instead of neurotransmitters are endogenous chemicals that enable neurotransmission by facilitating signal transduction across synaptic clefts. These are a lot of big words, and it's making my tongue feel weird. So synaptic clefts is another thing I did not know the meaning of. In my document, you can see I wrote it down and went to another AI source, asked for a simple meaning of the word. It means the tiny gap between nerve cells where signals pass from one cell to another. So if I'm going a little bit too fast, you can pause it, just take in what I'm saying, because I really do want this to clock and not just go over people's heads. And I know it's a lot. It's a lot for me too. I'm still trying to figure this out. So yeah, synaptic clefts are little nerve connectors, I think. Don't listen to me. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but that is what the internet told me. So that's the first sentence. The second sentence that I simplified was these molecules bind with receptors where the potential of the membrane is measured, instead of these molecules bind to specific receptors on the postsynaptic membrane, initiating a cascade of intracellular events that modulate neuronal excitability. I don't know most of the words in that sentence, so we'll go through some of them. For example, endogenous, having an internal cause or origin. In biology, specifically, it means growing or originating from within an organism. Postsynaptic, receives neurotransmitters and converts them into a new signal, typically a change in its memory and potential. So obviously those are big words even still, and they mean weird things, but if you write them out and really try making the sentence simpler on your own, it really does start to make sense, because you don't just want to take out the big words and leave it like that. You want to make sure you understand the sentence, and that's why it has become simpler naturally. So that is also part of my writing practice and my academic word bank. So something that I also want to do right now is together we can do this, I would like to just, for my project idea, I would like to start brainstorming just topics for it. So project, how music affects sleep. So I'm going to create a checklist of things I need to do first. So first, I do need to come up with a lead question. And so even though there's a lot of different points I'm considering, I obviously need a scientific question that I'm trying to answer. I need to come up with independent variables, dependent variables, how I'm going to test for results. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the lead question for a little bit later, so that I can get like a little bit more of a head on what I'm trying to do. And I'm just going to write down independent variables and just start punching things out. We can start with type of music. We can do length of listening time. I could do brainstorming is so much harder when I'm thinking on my feet. With or without headphones. Duration of music. The volume of music. The age of the person that's listening to it. Age of consumer. I also want to focus on the sleep time, so how much sleep they're getting. Sleep a person gets. I need to do quality of sleep, because that matters definitely a lot. How long does it take to fall asleep? Is it easy to wake up? Do they dream? So already I have like a list of a bunch of things that I'm testing for in my experiment, and my idea is to basically create some sort of log I can give to some people that I know, and teenagers obviously, and have them to for a week just fill out what they do in a week, and just fill out these variables and keep a track of all of this. Now obviously there's a margin of error in any human experiment, because people lie, people are inaccurate with their readings and with their timings, and that's to be expected. So I don't expect everybody to measure how much exactly they're listening to music for every day specifically, but I would like to get an estimate for a paper. And I did a lot this week. I talked a lot. This video is really long, and I'm going to end it now, but next week, hopefully I will have the log finished, and I will strictly just go over this project specifically that I'm working on, and maybe the week after that I can go back to showing you the things that I read, things that I simplified, and maybe we can organize my terms then. But for now, this is where I'll stop for today. A lot of information, really digest it, and so that way we can be prepared for next week. Bye, thank you.